Your fingernail fall off?
Well, not yet. Still kind of black.
Ugh.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah, pretty ugly right now. When you guys look at this 2 weeks here, right? This is what we've had previously. I'm just showing you so I don't have to keep flipping on the two charts here. But you can see the 2 weeks right now, we're kind of in the balance, right? When you see we're right dead in the middle of trading, right? So you can make a lot of assumptions here and a lot of bets, but you're most likely going to be wrong. There's a 50% chance you're going to be wrong, right? We do have a lower high and a higher low, and the lower high and the higher low, of course, is just building overnight here. So typically what that tells you is that you're, consolidating, and that's what the market's been telling us for some time now, right? When they dip below, just like they did Friday, if you guys remember, they came back kind of to the October Valley area low, and they basically just pumped it from there again, right? A lot of single prints were there. A short cover rally again started right from the bottom. But the question is, did they achieve much, right? And you can tell if they achieved much just by looking at the single prints on the right, the volume profile. If you guys remember on Thursday when we had that kind of liquidation, I'll turn on the candle so you guys can see it. So let's do this. So let me know if you guys can see it, right? We have that sell-off, and then we had the triple distribution day, if you guys remember, right? We had the 1, the 2, the 3. You guys should recall that when we talked last time. We had this single print zone. I didn't mark this one as single print zone just because we filled it, but there's something important that happened there. Does anyone know what that is between Thursday and Friday?
It's armor. Can you explain?
Does anyone know? And any important happenings on Friday that you can carry over into Monday?
Is it
I
because we
just
clipped
remembered.
volume?
Oh, go ahead.
Is it because we closed below it?
There's a good thing and a bad thing, right? And the good thing is, right, when they went below this third distribution, right, we opened way below it, and then what happened? The buying came in, right? They went into the second distribution. We had 3, if you remember, and then the third one here. We said if you can hold this and not lose it, there's a pretty high chance you're going to go into that kind of 16, 17 zone. And then if you go above and you lose it, there's a very high chance you're going to revisit the bottoms here. Is that the message we had from one of the watch lists?
Yep.
Somebody has to go on mute. If you can get him. So now, we bounced off the lows. We obviously, at one point when we gapped down, we rejected, right, this zone. We reclaimed it. We tried to go into the second zone, and we rejected that one as well. So if you look at this day here and kind of split it, right, here's this. So here's that, right? So you have the ABC, C's making higher, these just ripping them apart. They went into the second zone, and then they had the poor high kind of set here. We're going to carry that out. I'll put poor low. And there's that dyslexia. So this would be the poor high, right? When they tried to hold the value right here, right about 770 was fairly important to hold here, right? Which was a prior day POC, kind of like hold this level, and you see how important that was. So it was almost an intraday split of value. And what did they do? Did they close above it, below it?
Below.
They definitely closed below. So they're not being accepted higher. They're being accepted in a lower distribution of Thursday's sell-off. Is that bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
That's pretty bearish. The only thing that's bullish is that, this shit price action that they had here in between. Because you have single prints, but there's really no what? Is this, what do you call this right here? Is this a distribution?
No,
Like
Why
what
not?
structure?
it's only 2 TPOs wide.
So what is it?
Skinny belly.
Well, it's
Or-
just a
Access?
bad structure, right? I mean, you have access on the bottom, but I would call this, the whole thing's a short cover rally. This is just a lot of weak access. Remember, when you're making higher highs, you don't want to be spending half an hour deciding if you want to go higher or not. If it was true buying, aggressive buying, what you should have seen is just a bunch of skinny belly, single prints going higher, right? But they did, try to formulate, a P shape in the top. The only thing is they got rejected in that distribution off of Thursday. They closed in the bottom. So when you think about overall structure, right? We went from the penthouse and just follow the value, right? You went from here. Then they, if you guys remember, they filled this really bad area that we had at one point here, right? They shifted the value to this zone. And now they're shifting the zone. Oops, I don't mean to do that. Now they're shifting the value here, right? So this was the top. They tried to get in, they got kicked out. This one here, they tried to get in the blue one, right? They tried to go above here and they were not able to succeed, right? So I would say if we can fix this poor high about 95 to about 96, that's where our previous day value area high is. And it's very close to kind of the distribution as well. So if you're able to, let's say, open above this, I call it 80, about 80, 80, 75. Let's say we're able to open above this level. I would say there's a very high chance we hit 95. Above 95, you hit 817. And then there's a very high chance you're going to just basically go to the top of this yellow bracket and bottom of the pink or whatever the color is. Does that make sense? So we're shifting values down overall. Now they're fighting on the bottom of the Thursday's value here, or bottom distribution right here. So if they can't hold this, they're going to fill this, guys, really, really quickly, because there's what? Here.
Weak no value or weak excess.
Yeah. Yeah, just poor structure overall, right? They're gonna fly through it. And then you gotta ask yourself, what does it mean next, right? Well, where can you go next? So just look a little bit here. So you do have some levels that you can reference, right? So I'll probably put something around here as the next target. And then below that, right, you would have this massive POC at 64, 68. And I'm just on the daily time frames, right? But this was the value that we spent a lot of time in. This right here. So it would be wise for them to actually come back to this 6502. Let's see, somewhere around here on top of this bracket here. Somewhere around here, 6,500. It would be pretty good for the bulls to come back here. And let's see if the bulls can kind of dance from here and bounce back up. If you go on the monthly chart, let me make sure I'm on the monthly. Does the daily make sense to everyone? Is anyone lost?
Makes sense.
Very good. Let me make sure. So here's our kind of monthly profile. So here's your October, right? So most of you had this marked up, right? So you would have October value area low here. This is where we bounced so far. Let me make sure I'm on ETH on these. Should be lower a little bit. Yeah, a tad bit lower. So right now, what the market's telling you on the higher time frame is what?
We want to go higher. Value below is being rejected.
Yeah, as long as they can crack, let's say, October's value area high, which is about 803, right? And they get accepted here, they'll have a big test at 817. There's a very high chance you're going to hit this prior week POC and developing monthly virgin POC. Not that it's done, definitely prior week virgin POC. I would expect them to go towards 68, maybe even 6,900, and then go from there and target these. I will call these poor highs right here at the all-time highs, right? So if they can get out of this value here for October, get back inside and seek acceptance above this, very high chance they're going to challenge this at the top again, higher time frames. But if you lose this level, right, so you would have September value area low sitting right here. And you see, right, let me make sure that this is 68. Yeah. Let's make sure the market. So these would be the levels that I would watch, if you're still short on some puts, that you can look to close right here. This would be the spot where you want to start closing some longer dated puts that you might, if you have any, right? If they crack above this level and you're still short, that's not good because they're going to run it. And they're going to, they're going to squeeze from there. Does that make sense on the monthly time frames? They really need to get in above value area high of October, then they can pump for the rest of the quarter. I would check VWAP here just to make sure because November is halfway there. So monthly VWAP is right around 804 as well. This will be a tricky zone to navigate, so I wouldn't necessarily initiate too many longs here. And you do have this skinny belly kind of sitting here as well, about 90 to 92. That might be very interesting to see how they play it out. I would not initiate longs in this area by no means. We can see where they are right now, so they're gonna attempt to go. Most likely, they're gonna give it another go here, maybe tonight or tomorrow. I think Nvidia has earnings this week, so I would watch for those earnings as well. They will help you guide. I wouldn't be surprised if they're stellar when they try to run it into Q4, because then there's going to be a lot of FOMO from retail that they missed. They missed a big chips run. I would expect them that they're just going to run. And then similar to prior year, right, or prior years where January and February comes in and it's a slaughter, right? There's a reason they're giving people the $2,000 checks. Because most people that, if you lost a job or have friends that lost a job, they're not going to be spending money in November and December for any holiday shopping. So I think they're seeing the blueprints come in a little bit negative. So they're worried. And of course, we talked about last time, the government statistical system being down is just kind of icing on top of it. So for me, ultimately, I would definitely watch. Can they get above this zone where they're struggling right now? And they're really, really trying at this point to get above it. You see, they're trying to set up a bullish candle. If they reclaim this, you can take 295. Most likely they're going to fix this poor low, or poor high, I'm sorry. And between monthly VWAP and this zone, it's going to be dangerous. I would watch, if they go inside here and then lose it, and then you can definitely target this. But depending where they open tomorrow morning, I would really, really, really like for them to get out of the. Let me bring the dailies here. Let me give you a better view.
For the long of that, would you play long if you held it and retested the single above the single prints?
Up here, yeah, I would. I would. If they go above and they give you this retest, it might be a little bit long on the poor high. I would expect them to hold it because now they're almost, if you combine the two profiles here, you're going to get a nice, really distribution. If they can clean this up, right, and stay, let's say, above this level and build here, because if you're building value right below resistance, that's usually a sign they're going to crack through it. So it'll be really important to see how do they open in relationship to this high volume nodes here, or interest, high value area interest between the 2 days. Let's say they lose this 47 and these single prints here, I would be short here. I would definitely be short if they lose these single prints here, because there's not much stopping them here. This half back here is useless. This single print here will not do much. There's not much here that's going to stop them. They can crack above this 95, 96. That'll be big, right? And this area here, 80, where they're stuck now, that's going to play tonight probably a big role. Overnight, if anyone's trading tonight, if they can get over this quarterly VWAP and this, most likely you can catch 15 points. I'll probably close that. They're going to spike through probably to here, monthly VWAP, come back for a retest, and then might be a chance to drive it for 20 points if that's the play overnight, right? But if they lose, let's say this area, they go above and lose it, I wouldn't be surprised if they give you 47. And we'll just have to see where they open tomorrow morning and we play accordingly. So 47 on the bearish side. First bullish sign is over this, call it red zone, quarterly VWAP, single print from Thursday. If you're able to crack that, very high odds you're going to fix this poor high, visit the monthly VWAP, and then the single print from Thursday into the final distribution where the poor high exists as well. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna keep it short because I'm about to pass out myself. Hopefully you guys pick this up. If not, I'll be on tomorrow, and then we can trade away.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.